So, welcome everyone to yet another episode in this Voices of Women series, essentially showcasing stories of women from all across the world and women with different stories, women with stories that are simple, some are profound, some are definitely going to make you sit and pause and think about it. And most of all, it's going to inspire you in many, many different ways. So I have Roshni with me, joining all the way from Mauritius. So, our podcast now goes international in terms of Mauritius. And, she is a very good friend of mine for the last 1.5+ years. She's also a coach, and she runs organization, coaching organizations called I Am, and she's a life coach. She's had some work history with Bangalore, IT, content writing, and more. So we'll chat with her, find out what's her story, what she can share to the rest of the world. So welcome, Roshni. Welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much, Sunil.
Yes. So the first time, I think in all of our conversations, we are so formal in
Yes.
terms of our introductions. But I think I'll put you on the spot with that question, saying, what's a coach? Who's a coach?
So we both have been on this journey, and I'm sure on your podcast this has come up before too. For me, it is that person, most of us, including us, we don't have somebody to talk to as openly without being judged in some sense. And a coach is definitely that space where you're not judged at all, and that has become so rare. So this becomes, I think, one of those most important qualities of being a coach. uh, Apart from that, just being there to guide you, to show you in a way, throw light on things that you have not been able to see, but it's there within you.
Hmm. Very, very interesting. So throw light on things that you are not able to see, and something that's within you. I think that's a very uh, easy way to share it with people, but also, in a way that people have to say, okay, reflect on, say, what is that I have within me that I have not seen before. But I'm very, very interested about, the space of I am. So very, very interesting name to give to an organization, to run. So what's the etymology? What's the history around it?
So I think as a person, I have been very philosophical from a very young age. Since I was a teenager, I was always fascinated with different philosophies. It was also one of, though I majored in English literature for my graduation, the other two subjects that I had was psychology and philosophy. And I must say that at that age, I did not really enjoy the process of uh, roting philosophy for exams. But on the side, reading those books from libraries, or, general interest into knowing more about life, it has always been there. Uh, and I think that has guided my path wherever I went ahead in my career, in my life, even in my personal life. Uh, that profoundness has traveled with me.
Mm.
And in Indian philosophy, there is nothing more greater, of greater profoundness than the words I am. Uh, and I think it was something that was a no-brainer for me. The moment I thought of a name, this is what came to me.
Mm.
It was something that naturally came to me.
Wow. I am, I am, so I exist. I am, so I manifest. So I think, like my thought process is also running around different tangents of saying I am good, I am beautiful, I am perfect, I am strong. Like you can let that, say, third word be completed by the client saying I am what.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I think
And
very, very powerful.
I mean, I also, if you notice my logo, it says insightful, aware, and mindful. And that is so integral to the coaching process itself. So even when I was trying to relate it to coaching, it felt so strongly in place.
Mm. Oh, absolutely. So I think I'll now put you on the spot. So who are you? So you say I am. So who are you? So if you were to tell your story to the world through this podcast, uh, you have as much time as you want. How would you like to start? Where would you like to start? What would you say?
I find that the most difficult question because there are so many aspects to me that it's very difficult for me to answer this question in a limited time because it does become very autobiographical. Um, Even like at corporate interviews and stuff, if they would ask, okay, tell us about you, it's a question that bothers me because you have to specify what part of me is that you want to know about. Is it my academics? Is it my qualifications? Is it who I work as? Who am I when I am alone? Who am I when I'm with my children? Uh, who am I when I'm with my husband? So it's there are so many stories in that one question. It's an existential question if you put it that way. And I completely uh, find it difficult or sometimes even ridiculous to put myself uh, in a situation to answer that question in a limited time.
And that's why I gave you unlimited time. Yeah, I think it's one of the most favorite spaces for me in terms of asking who you are, because a lot of us will say, "Oh, I am XYZ at this particular organization," and I'm paying close attention to I work for, do I work at, do I work with, in terms of when they say I'm working at whatever organization or working with an organization. So is the organization working for you? Are you working for the organization? So a lot of these questions do come to my head as soon as people start introducing themselves. And this standard introduction saying, "Oh, I am XYZ, I'm married, I have two kids." I'm like, "Sir, I'm not interested. Tell me something that I will remember you for. Tell me an anecdote. Tell me a space that uh, cements, say, you for me, saying, oh, this person means this, or this person I would associate with directly with something." So that way, you very truly said, you don't know who you are, or what is the answer that somebody else is expecting, because suddenly it hits many questions at once. What is the answer you are expecting? But rather, I would say, I would answer it in a way that this is who I am. This is how my answer is. You can interpret it and take it however you want to. So I in a elaborate introduction. I think sometimes it can go from 5 minutes to 20 minutes also. So it depends
Yes.
on the audience. And yeah, but
I
there.
mean, if I had to just describe in a space like this, I would talk about me as an individual, probably not pertaining to any specific role that I play. Uh, I think one word that I always associate strongly with myself is freedom. And I think that is something that drives me through everything I do, everything I am. Uh, it is that space of that is limitless. I like to be in spaces physically as well as mentally, uh, which doesn't tie me down in any way. Um, I believe I'm a free soul. I thrive where there is freedom. Um, and I think every decision I make is usually based on that one thing. If it frees me, or
Mm,
lets me remain myself, be the most authentic person I can be.
absolutely, yeah. I think this is the answer maybe I was expecting. That who are we beyond our roles that we assign to ourselves, that's assigned by society. So freedom being limitless in a way that it also brings out who we are, and essentially, uh, you know moves us away from some of the silos we put on ourselves. And I think that generally women do it a lot more than say men. And even in terms of sharing your story, sometimes men find it easier to share than say women. And that's also one of the ideas with the podcast, that it's okay to share whatever stories you are. You don't need to have a first rank in your class to say, okay, I have a successful story. So even
Yes.
sometimes starting something on your own and just the act of starting something on your own could be something of great importance to you, and that's what matters. And we'll have to start acknowledging that for ourselves, being,
Definitely.
irrespective of
Yeah.
gender.
And I think that, like you said, for women, that is definitely something more difficult to express themselves in their own words, because there's so much of noise that comes very often from others stating who they are, that they have silenced that voice of who I am inside them.
Absolutely. And how do you handle those noises?
Oh, as a very young person, my teenage and early adulthood, I would say very rebellious. I wanted to push back everything that was pushed onto me. I was very vocal with it. I ruffled quite a few feathers, including my own parents, during that age. And the drawback of it was that I constantly felt people don't like me because of that. Um, I wasn't, in society's terms, very ladylike, or, I don't fit into that good girl definition very easily, because I do question a lot. So the younger age was very much defined by that one trait of me pushing back constantly. I think, but it worked for me. I realized it quite early that if I don't push back, I would lose what I was saying, the freedom of being myself. So I learned very early in my life that I need to push back. It wasn't always healthy, I would say. I didn't have the tools to know how to do it. I just knew I have to do it. Uh, so it started off with that. And as I grew up, I think the self awareness, knowing who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. How for me, the moment you start talking about being a woman, there is this negative label that is put on you of being a feminist by most people who don't understand that feminism is about equality and not about women being better than men. And that was constantly branded onto me, oh, you are somebody who does not like men, or oh, you are a feminist, was used so loosely. Um, and I think all those labeling and accusations were things that shaped me, also my awareness of who I am, because I started realizing, no, for me it's not about I want to put you down or somebody else down. I want to lift myself up. And I think the moment I started realizing that, there was the journey became more easier. I was able to retain uh, a very important part of me, that was kindness. Um, because when you're pushing back, sometimes it's difficult to be kind. But I realize, and that would make me angry, angry at myself too, because I want to be kind. But when I'm pushing back, anger is all that is coming. Uh, but I guess that journey made me realize I can take both these things together, you know.
Wow. So, and I sort of noted it down saying, I want to lift myself up as one of the statements to, like ponder on, and also like put it as the YouTube thumbnail, saying this is what the conversation is going to be about. But very beautifully said. You said you want to be kind. You want to that's something that works for you, and that's something that you want to represent for yourself. Uh, and like being a coach myself, so I can sense there's a very strong value system at play.
Yes, yes.
So how did that, like how was that journey of understanding, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want to represent. How was that journey for you?
I think that journey has started very, very like consciously. I'm saying I do remember things from when I was 7, 8 years old, which where I stood up for what I believe in, you know. Um, I like to be there with children who were not very popular in class, or if I remember this one incident where, one of my friends, he had got mumps, uh, was infected with mumps, and he was sitting in a corner not playing with us because he was infected. And we were all playing, it was holidays, um, and I felt so bad after like playing for 15, 20 minutes, seeing him sad and sitting in one corner not playing. I actually went and sat next to him. And I said, why are you not playing? He said, no, I'm not allowed to play because I have this. And, if I come and play with you guys, you will also get it. So I said, but aren't you bored sitting alone? He said, yeah, I'm bored. And I just sat there talking to him the next half an hour. And of course, the next day I had mumps, and, I had to stay at home for the next 1 week. But uh, the uh, the incident stays with me because I think by nature I had that feeling. I don't want to leave anybody behind. I want to slow down and make sure this person comes with us. So I think maybe that's why this memory is still very vivid in my mind, this particular incident. Uh, that's kind of driven me uh, to keep that. And at that age itself, I started recognizing certain values that are very important to me. I probably didn't know how to name them,
Mm.
but I just knew these are important things to me.
Wow. Mm. Very interesting. So in one answer, you shared a lot of things. My next question was, what's your relationship with kindness? And then I think that I understood already. And also like one of your favorite childhood memory. I don't know if this one's a favorite, but essentially this is one that has a lot of impact on you. Hmm. So maybe just switching the tune a little bit. So you're currently in Mauritius. So how's that, say, in being in another country? So how's that experience?
So Mauritius is the first country outside of India that I traveled to. And now I've been living here for past 14 years, and I've in this 14 years seen many other countries too. But I think it was uh, one of the best things that happened to me moving to this country. I was like most of us living in cities in India, um, running a very mechanical life, uh, waking up, cooking, running to work, 10 to 12 hours of corporate job, and then coming back in a very heavily trafficked, traveling through those roads back home. All you want to do is eat and go to sleep, So I was nowhere having a sense of expression of who I am, or it was just very, very mechanical. And I didn't realize it when that was happening, because you're so tied down that you're just running in that circle constantly. And probably at the back of my mind, I wanted to slow down and I wanted something more beautiful that I should create with my life. And Mauritius just came as an opportunity, and my husband got a job here and we moved. And though the one thing at that point he had mentioned to me is, you will not have a job when you go there, because as a dependent, you didn't have the right to work in Mauritius. So, but at that point, it was not at all important to me, you know. Whereas before that, I don't think I had ever thought of myself as not having a career. But in that moment, it felt like, no, I want myself back, you know.
Hmm.
And it didn't matter. I was so happy to leave my corporate life behind. I was not at all enjoying it. That it was very intuitive, I would say. It was not at all a thought out thing, oh, what will happen to me 10 years down the line, or, um, I just had a very positive intuition about it. And I said, yes, I want to go. And that changed, or rather, fast paced me into what I always wanted with my life.
Hmm.
So the first year, I would say, when I came here, the very first day, I took a nap and I felt like I'd slept for hours, and I'd actually slept only for 15 minutes. And that itself felt so wonderful, because it felt like time had completely slowed down, from a very, very fast paced life. We had come to something very, very slow. And of course, Mauritius is a very beautiful island, and with so much of nature around me, I think it just started me off on that journey to discover myself. And that's what I continued doing. So in Mauritius, I actually learned to swim, learned photography, which I did like before too, but I never got the time to actually pick up a camera and walk around. I started completely immersing myself in that experience, traveling much more, writing. Again, it was a passion to uh, write more literary stuff. Uh, I was in content writing, but it was not something that was my passion. Um, but I was loving the creativity that came into my life, the time that I had. And then I did some voluntary teaching here, English as a second language, to children who were dropouts um, from schools. And they were in a vocational school where they would be inducted into, the tourism industry, basically, the service
Hmm.
industry, where they had English was an important language for them. And I got about 3.5 years with those kids where I volunteered. And it was an experience like none other, because in a new country, uh, to experience children as locals, I think that's the best part uh, you could get in any new country. So I enjoyed that phase, and then I had my son, so I could enjoy without any guilt of having given up my job uh, for my child. I enjoyed that phase too. So it's just been, I think Mauritius has accelerated my journey towards what I wanted my life to be.
Wow, so many things that you shared. So I am jealous of that 15 minutes of sleep. Not bad. So one of my first things that came to me was this I think this that fable, right? So we read in all of our English school books saying somebody slept for 7 hours or 7 years or something.
Hmm.
And then suddenly wake up, the world has changed. So that was the first thought I had, saying, okay, this should be something that you've slept through and something has changed internally for you.
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. I mean, I can see that when you're saying that story. Yeah, it felt like that exactly. No?
So for those that are interested in that kind of a sleep, I think you should also reach out to Roshni. She's a good coach. Yeah, and then like you also mentioned, I think one thing that caught my eye, maybe because I am a biased volunteer myself. So you said you volunteer with kids, you volunteer teaching English, and then I also know that you volunteer with like organizations also in India. So
Yes, yes.
what draws you to volunteering?
I think experiencing humanity at its best. It's the simplest answer I can give. Um, it satisfies me more than any other job I have done. It doesn't feel like job. It just feels like being human when you are there, with no real motive of wanting specific things back, but you do end up so much richer.
Oh yeah,
Uh, uh, that's what I think, that's what drives me in life with anything I absolutely do. Um, I don't, we know that the world is transactional, there's no doubt about it, but I don't see money as the only transaction. And like I said, there is so much you get when you come out of that experience.
oh yeah,
You are a richer person. You are a different person from what you were yesterday.
absolutely. So if you were to give a message to people who never volunteered before, I think this is the statement.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, volunteering does change you, and also like very rightly put, there are no KPIs, there are no KRIs, there's nothing to look at as an agenda. But what
Yes.
you get from it, even though at times you feel that you've given so little, the amount of love you get from the beneficiaries or whatever, especially in a one-to-one conversation, school kids, whatever, is just phenomenal. It cannot be put into words.
Yes, it's a very difficult thing to describe, but I feel it immensely now that I've been in that journey for a very long time, and I intend to put most of my life into that. I do feel that there is nothing that can replace that feeling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So if I have to ask a cliched question, so would you like to share something from your childhood that's a happy memory?
Oh, just being carefree, not having so much responsibilities every moment, I think. But I think anytime I had um, those ice lollies
Ah, okay.
on a nice summer day with a friend with me, having a conversation and walking so carelessly on the streets and having that. I can imagine a best friend of mine when I'm saying this because we've done it so much together. Uh, that that is my favorite childhood memory.
Wow. And now you want me like I am also like saying, okay, that is something that I should do sometime soon, saying uh call some of my friends and just have that ice cream and then like just walk around, especially because it's almost the end of beginning of summer here and the end of
Yeah.
winter. So ice cream is going to do a lot of good, and we need that with the weather there is.
I
Mm.
would ask you what stops you.
The only thing that's currently stopping me is that I'm on a diet. That's the only thing that stops me. So otherwise, yeah, I'm always a kulfi guy. So even after like 1 year full of like proper, channeling of my energy towards coaching, and somebody said, Sunil, how do you like to celebrate? Like PCC is a big thing. You've done like put 1 year of effort, and I said, I think I'll get a kulfi. And they are like, kulfi, bus, it's nice. Like, you're satisfied with it. And I was like, kulfi for me is means the world. So I have a kulfi, that's the end of it. So beginning of celebration, end of celebration happens right there. So yeah, but yeah, very, very nostalgic memory. So you gave me a thought process on writing a story around it. So hopefully it'll come out soon.
Looking
Yes,
forward to reading it.
yes, yes. So you said you are passionate about photography, you learned swimming. So what else? The podcast is called People, Passion and Purpose. So what is some of those passion stuff that you end up doing?
Oh, I have a lot. And I keep upgrading to new things too. So one thing I would say is music. I'm a big fan of good music, and I sing. I've not really completed my classical singing training, but I have been inducted into it uh, 2, 3 times. I am a Bharatnatyam dancer.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I love dancing in general. So anything that brings life into me, I like art very much. Drawing and painting is not something I'm very good at, but in the last 3 years, I've picked up doodling a bit. I do it more for myself than for others, like most other things that I do. Um, I write poetry. Um, it's always I used to write it much more before, but it's something I really enjoy um, to express what is there inside me. Yeah, so these are things. Cooking is something I really enjoy, and I'm lucky I get to do it on a daily basis. Though sometimes it can tire me out when kids are having holidays, but again, I really do enjoy the process of cooking. It's almost like meditation to me. I love meeting friends. I love meeting people in general, having deep conversations. It's a passion for me. Yeah, I think if you give me more time, I could just go on with the list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there are no time restrictions around this. So when we're talking about passions, there's definitely no barriers around it. And like I was just thinking, possibly without the dancing space, I think there are a lot of parallels. So I love writing. Possibly, I haven't had any official space into music, but I think, yeah, I can identify tunes and you like basically sing bad lyrics or horrible lyrics, change the entire meaning of a song just with simple changes to the word. So I love doing that. I love being naughty with some of those these things. Or being childish. I don't know what exactly that is, but I think also to all the aspects that you shared, I think one thing was sure is that that Roshni still keeps the child inside her very active.
Oh, definitely. I think that is probably the essence of me, you know. I Whatever harsh experiences we all have, I think that one thing that those experiences take away from most people is you know, the innocence or the joy of being a child. And nothing has so far taken that away from me. I love to be that. Sometimes, you know, I can go to the level of my 5-year-old or 10-year-old, and probably even they can feel mama is so childish. But I thoroughly enjoy those times. And I think that's what keeps me the way I am, you know, helps me to be myself more easily. Because if you look at children, they are always themselves, they're not anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think children uh, also don't put too many self restrictions on themselves. They express
Yeah.
themselves the way they want to share things, and what you get is what you see is what you get.
Yes,
So
yes.
that is
So
something.
for me, if I'm in good company and good mood, I could break out into a dance in a crowded street, or you know, I could do I could make myself look silly and not care about it. If I had to put it in one line.
Oh, amazing. So I think there are many things that I'd like to sort of double tap onto. Possibly I'm also looking at it maybe in another podcast because I think in terms of today's time, we've reached the pause button, not the end button. So it's a comma, not a full stop. So fantastic chatting with you, Roshni. So if you had to just close this, say, podcast with, say, one or two lines about your experience, or what is that, uh, you felt during the space.
Oh, it's I like I said before, I don't talk about myself much. And it's wonderful to do that every once in a while, and I really enjoyed doing it today.
Hmm. Yeah, and you gave us a good line saying, I want to lift myself up. I think that's the line I take away from this entire conversation with you, and
Thank
many
you.
other things, of course. But
Yes,
this one's
yes.
something that stayed with me, and also that story of the ice cream. I think two very very interesting spaces. So thank you
Yes.
for your time and space today, and I'm absolutely sure that all the things that you've shared ends up somewhere. Inspiring others to share their story, inspiring others to break out into a dance somewhere in the middle of the space, wherever they are. As long as they're not in traffic, I think that should be fine. So,
Yeah, but I mean, I should say that everything comes with a consequence. You should be able to take it.
and the only consequence if you're doing it in traffic is hundreds of people making videos of you, and possibly their videos will go viral than your own videos. Yeah, that could be the most simplest of things that can happen out of that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Then thank you, Roshni, for your time. And I know this conversations with you will keep on going, and plus one on the deep philosophical conversations. So we'll have more of them sometime.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sunil, for the space.
Absolutely.